Here is a string of Westinghouse branded C9 Christmas lights. These are multicolored lights in the painted or frosted or opaque or whatever you want to call it styling. These are C9 1/4 intermediate base according to the box, and also according to the box, these are for outdoor use. I would not be surprised if the UL certification certifies them for both indoor and outdoor use. Additionally, according to the box, the bulbs are long life, rated for 2,500 hours. You can still buy long life C9 bulbs today. You can usually get 130 volt ones, which will be rated for about 3,000 hours. I'm not sure what the typical lifespan of these is. I think it might be 2,000 hours for a typical basic string. I'm not sure how old these are yet. Hopefully there's some kind of a date code inside. These originally sold for about $14. I'm not sure where, but if that's more than 10 years ago, that's a pretty steep price, which maybe was rationalized by the allegedly long life quality bulbs. Assorted colors. Only problem is I don't think that those are the colors that are in there. It looks like red, green, yellow, blue, and red to me. And I'm pretty sure that that's not even close to what's inside the box. Well, actually, I know it's not because you can see the bulbs. They're actually white, red, blue, orange, and green. Now, I would have preferred this. I remember that some of the strings used to come with a nice pure yellow, and over the years that seemed to be replaced by the orange, and I think that that kind of stinks. I like yellow, green, blue, red, and I guess having the white in there is okay too. I have bought several boxes of just the yellows, which I'm going to start adding into the strings over time. So, these allegedly have nickel-plated bases, which supposedly provides extra corrosion resistance. And they're guaranteed to light, but I can guarantee making good on that guarantee probably never happened. Add-on connector for one additional set. Really, you could add two. Oh, there's plenty of things to scrutinize on the back of the box. There's no date code on the box, though. Alright, let's see what we got here. Westinghouse. Quality features. Underwriters Laboratories listed for outdoor use. And I'm pretty sure it's rated for indoor use, too. Fully assembled. What the heck Christmas light string comes not assembled? 2,500 hour long life bulbs. Nickel-plated base for extra corrosion resistance. Overload protection for added safety. How the heck is that added safety? That's standard safety. It's just a fuse. Spare fuse included in case you overload it. End connector to add one additional set. Sockets with molded on clips. That's also standard. 12-inch spacing between bulbs, which has been pretty standard for the last couple decades. Total length 25 feet. So Westinghouse was really trying to work this thing up to be better than it was. Because at the end of the day, this is a pretty basic set of lights. The so-called features listed are all pretty typical. Limited guarantee, and oh, is it limited. If this set fails to light any time within 1 year from the date of purchase, exchange it where purchased. So, you mean let's like return it to the store like you would any other kind of merchandise that breaks? Or ship it prepaid with proof of date purchased to Minami International Corporation. We will replace or repair the set at no charge. Well, that's great, but you've already exceeded the cost of the set in shipping to send it back, so what good is that? The guarantee is garbage, and I would not be surprised if less than 100 customers ever even tried to get that guarantee made good on. All right, moving on. Let's see what other kind of nonsense is on here. Directions. End connection. Connect to 25 intermediate base lamp sets together by inserting the plug of one string into the end connector of the other. Do not connect together more than 2 sets. Don't tell me what to do. I will connect as many sets as I feel like. Lamp replacement. Unplug light set. Unscrew lamp. Throw it across the room. Replace burned out lamps only with type C 1/4 intermediate base lamps. Fuse replacement. Unplug light set. Open fuse compartment door on the plug. Use a small screwdriver to slide the cover in the direction indicated by arrow. See Fig 1. I don't even like figs. They're kind of gross. Use screwdriver to pull fuse out of the spring holding contacts. Spare fuse is also locked spare fuse is also, gosh, I just crashed. Spare fuse is also located in the compartment. See Fig 2. I don't even like figs. Replace fuse with a 3/16 by 3/4 inch cartridge fuse or cartilage fuse, rated 125 volts, 7 amperes maximum. Close fuse compartment door. Stupid, dumb inches. I hate inches. They're stupid and dumb. All these complicated fractions and garbage. It was stupid inches. I don't know why we can't use millimeters and centimeters and meters like the rest of the world, because they make a lot more sense. The conversion is easy. There's no stupid fractions. Now that's interesting that this says to use a 7 amps fuse. Normally it's a 5 amps fuse. So depending on the gauge of the wire, you could probably plug 4 of these together without a problem. Cautions. Oh boy, this is really dangerous. 1. To avoid the risk of fire and electric shock, do not install on trees having needles, leaves, or branch coverings of metal or materials that look like metal. So you can't use it on a tree because pretty much every tree I've ever seen, unless it's broken, has needles, leaves, and if it's a Christmas tree, probably has some kind of branch coverings. Do not mount or support strings in a manner that can cut or damage wire insulation. Do not connect together more than 2 25 light outdoor sets. Now that sentence was put in the red to try to emphasize it, but the irony is the contrast got reduced horrifically, and at least to my eyes, it's very difficult to see that sentence. And if I was reading this quickly, I might actually gloss right over it, because the contrast is so poor. Do not connect anything other than 25 light C9 1/4 intermediate base lamp sets as found in this set. To reduce the effect of excessive heat and damage. The effect of excessive heat. I've never heard that one before. Use only decorative lamp features packaged with this light set if provided. What features? Do not operate light set if one or more lamps are missing or broken. If a new fuse blows after replacement, make certain that no more than 2 25 light C9 1/4 intermediate base lamp sets are connected together. If the fuse shield blows, the set may have a short circuit. That is so unlikely. Do not operate the set. 5. Turn light set off when you must leave product unattended for a long period of time. But I guess unattended operation for a short period of time is okay. Copyright Westinghouse Electric Corporation. Made in the Philippines. So these actually might be decent quality. Now, according to the box, it's good for 175 watts, which is pretty typical. Now, I have my calculator here still from the last time we had to scrutinize some Christmas lights. So let's take a look at some numbers here to see what realistically could be connected. So we know that it's power factor 1 because it's just incandescent lights. So a 7 amp fuse times the volts of 120 would give us 840 the watts. And if we cut that by 175, the next, the largest whole number would give us how many strings we can put together, which, as I suspected earlier, is 4. And in fact, it's 4.8 technically, so there's a fair bit of play, and I don't feel like connecting 4 together. Oh yeah, you can really see the numbers on there. I don't have a cameraman. I do the best I can here. Assuming that the wiring is of a good enough gauge, you could pretty comfortably hold connect 4 together. You know, it's not like it's the numbers 4.1 and you're just barely teetering on the edge. You're only loading the fuse, 4 out of 5 capacity, whatever the heck percentage that is. How can we find that out? So 4 strings, 175, 4 times is 700, so 700 divided by 840 gives us 83%. Technically, you're supposed to load an electrical circuit up to 80% and not more than that. This is 83%, so, give or take a couple percent. It electrically is sound to connect 4. So that's kind of weird that it says only 2, but you really could connect 4. And it's particularly weird in this one because 4 is more than usual. Typically you can only go up to 3 because these usually have 5 amp fuses. Alright, let's see if these lights are actually any good. I can't imagine they wouldn't be. I've really never come across a string of incandescent C9 lights that wasn't good. Oh no, one of the bulbs is missing, and according to this, we cannot operate the string if one or more amps is missing. Well, I guess we'll just have to throw it out. That's disappointing. Screw it, we'll use it anyways. So, is there a date code on here or not? We have a UL tag. Which says, yep, just as I suspected, for indoor use and outdoor use. I suspect that these only get flagged for outdoor use because the companies are trying to avoid people misusing them inside and causing a electrical fire, which is 100% user error. There's no reason you can't safely use these inside. The other tag appears to have the number 12 in the handwritten. So maybe they were purchased in 2012. I don't know, there's no date on here. If I had to guess, I would say that these are probably... I would say these at least are from the 2000s, if not maybe the 90s. The graphics on the box look kind of old to me. Looks like a 90s style graphic. But there's absolutely nothing on here to work with. There's no date code, there's no copyright, there's no manual. Perhaps the manual would have had a copyright date. Well, actually, no. We know that this sticker, this is 96 or 97 or newer. So it's probably from the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there. Very typical packaging for the 2000s. You know, this plastic. Actually, a lot of these still come in this. The plastic that holds each bulb individually. This must have been tampered with at some point because there shouldn't be two blue right next to each other anyways. As far as the quality goes, well, that's not great there, but this isn't too bad. There's a couple defects, but most of the bulbs look pretty reasonable. Now, inherently, it's not the best coating, and it probably would chip off outside over time. Let's just take a couple of these out to get an idea of the spacing. Yeah, these have never been out of the package, I don't think. If someone did take these out, he or she did a remarkable job putting this back in. I don't think this has ever been out of the box. Yes, typical 1 foot spacing. This is not typical though. These are a little different than what they typically look like. The hook design. It's all plastic, ready to break after a couple years of UV exposure outside. Perfect. That seems pretty good still. Now these are claimed to be for outdoor use, and this has been an issue for as long as I can recall. These are not watertight in the slightest. If this is facing up, all the rain is just going to go right in there. Years ago, I remember my grandfather used to put gaskets on these bulbs, so when you screw it in, it makes a good seal up there. But even that really is not adequate because water can still get in here. I mean, this is not even remotely watertight. So if this is, hanging like this and it rains, the water's going to go down a wire and inside there, and then it corrodes. And that's why it talked about the base being nickel plated, because it's supposed to resist corrosion. But the bulb can resist corrosion all at once. If these contacts in there still corrode, then you're going to have the same problem. And those are very small contacts. The bulbs are also made in the Philippines. They're 120 volt bulbs. I kind of thought we might see that they're 130. All right, let's plug this in and take a look at these lights. We are testing these lights at 118.3 volts. The power information is 163 the watts, 1.39 the amps with a power factor of 99. All right, let's see if we can dial this in a little better. Christmas lights are very difficult to record in terms of getting the colors right when it comes to these. This camera does a pretty respectable job. The red's a little bit washed out on the video. If I underexpose it like that, that tends to give the best coloring. So this one is orange, and this one is red. I can see the difference, but it's very, very minute. Turn off the studio lights here for a minute. And now that they're on, we can see that quite a few of them do in fact have significant defects in the coating. In fact, almost every single one has some kind of a defect in the coating. So I guess overall I'm not impressed with the quality of these. These are the same kind of defects that the ones at Lowe's have. You know, when I get those for $2 or $3 on sale at the end of the year, it's a little more satisfactory than if you're paying $14 a string, which this has to have been, 10 plus years ago. That's a decent amount of money now. I mean, as it is, the ones at the Home Depot are selling brand new for $8, and they look better than this. Now, granted, they're the clear style or translucent style, but the finish is better quality than this. Well, they're perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just not. It's worked up to be something great on the box, and they're charging a decent price for this. You know, a lot of decent, like in terms of amount of money. Not decent isn't like it's a good price. It's decent as a decent amount of money. And I just don't feel like this is anything out of the ordinary to warrant this extra price. Well, we'll certainly use these. There's no reason not to use them. They're perfectly good. You know, no flicker, nice, warm, inviting glow. Typical, looks like a typical Christmas light, not a stupid, cold, eerie, cool, flickering DEL nonsense. But there are definitely better strings of C9s out there than this. How much did I end up paying for that? I think I only paid $1 or $2 for this at the thrift store. I mean, for what I paid for it, it was a good value, but I don't think it was a good value for the initial retail price.